Wall Street Memes Casino.
I'm fine.
And Sportsbook.
This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We are here in Coventry ahead of GBM's Into the Fire, live on the Zone Saturday night, Coventry Sky Dome. Delighted to be joined by Adam Smith. Adam, to start the Zone journey with GBM, this is one stacked card from top to bottom, isn't it? You had to have 3 press conferences.
3 press conferences, and we were there at Wembley yesterday for one of the biggest press conferences in world boxing, and yeah, it was terrific yesterday, wasn't it? A fantastic show announced for September the 21st, and one we're all going to be watching with. Yeah, it's just dreams, isn't it? It's dreamy stuff what's happening at the moment in boxing. What Turki Al-Sheikh has done, and Eddie and Frank and everybody. But yeah, we've got business here with GBM. You know, we want to be on that table. We want to be up there, like Ben Shalom and Kalla and everybody was there yesterday. You know, Izzy was saying to me, I want to be up there next year, and there's no reason why he can't, because we're developing some really good young talent. And I love that. I love working with young fighters, watching them flourish, watching them go through the early embryonic stages in their career. And we've got a monster show in Coventry on Saturday night. Our first one on DAZN. We've had a great time with TalkSport YouTube, and TalkSport continue to support us. Simon and Jim and all the appearances on radio, fantastic. We love them. But it was also an opportunity we couldn't turn down at DAZN. You know, the global streaming giant for boxing and, you know, in combat sports generally. I was with PFL last week on DAZN. This week we're here in Coventry. It's terrific to be part of the DAZN family. Katie Hearn even sent me a message saying it's really good to have you with us alongside Matchroom. It's great, and you know, Eddie and I go back a long way. To be sharing a platform with Eddie and Matchroom is fantastic, and it's great for Izzy. You know, he's learning. It's an education being a promoter. It's difficult. He's had a really rough week this week. He's relied on the brilliance of the genius that's Al Siesta to sort a few issues out. You know, late notice opponent changes. It's part and parcel of, you know, the journey in boxing promotion. But yeah, look, I've loved being part of the GBM story this year. The team are great. The atmospheres at Fight Night are fantastic. The fights are pretty tasty. Everyone has a good time, and we're developing some young stars. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think there's many other prospects out there that can match Kieran Molloy and Tin and Bradley for class. Paddy Donovan, you know, he's part of that mix. There's some fantastic fighters. Tin said today that he'd fight Adam Azim or Dalton Smith on Saturday night. It's great to see that attitude. Tin has a win over Dalton in the amateurs, and Dalton's one of my favourite fighters today in world boxing. So there's some really good quality on GBM cards now. And yeah, Tin's had a little bit of difficulty getting settled. He's now settled in Brighton under Scott Welsh's team. We've got the Loughborough family, and they're all around Kieran Molloy. You've got Danny Quartermain, undefeated, with a big family and a big legion of fans from Coventry and Leamington. You've got Niall Berry, who I believe is one of the best kept secrets in British boxing. I think he's terrific. So looking forward to having them all on. Big Arlo Stevens behind me, you know, starting his heavyweight journey, inspired by AJ, you know, sparred Fraser a lot. You know, it's great, isn't it? And River Wilson Bent having a local guy on too, who we know is going to give value for money. I'm not even really the promoter, but
I don't even need to ask you about the show anymore. But yeah, stacked from top to bottom. And the difference is these are big prospects, and they're signed to GBM, so there's a future here. This is not just a one fight deal. This is long-term project for GBM and DAZN.
Yeah, Shaq Thompson as well. There's many others, and I think that we're always on the lookout for fighters. So I think boxers out there will have seen what we've done production-wise, seen our shows, how the brilliance of the guys behind the scene, Mitch Costello and his team, who made York Hall look like York Hall has never been seen before. You know, the shows are blowing people away, and you know, I always say to Izzy, we're only as good as our last show, so we learn from every single one. But there's a real momentum with GBM, and now we've got DAZN. I believe there's a really rosy and fruitful future. DAZN have, you know, fantastic infrastructure in the countries we want to explore. In France, in Germany, in Spain, in Canada. There's Japan. There's opportunities internationally as well as in the UK. But in the UK, they are, they're a fantastic home. They're a hub. They've got everybody. They've got Matchroom. Apart from obviously my old guys at Sky, the best platform for sport in the UK. DAZN are the best platform for boxing worldwide. So it's a pleasure to be part of them. TNT might argue with Frank and Queensbury, but it's great. Channel 5 have got Wasserman, but it's great to be part of the DAZN family. Everybody seems to want to be on board on DAZN, and we're lucky enough to get a big deal, and they've seen what they like in GBM, and we say what we like in DAZN, and I think it's going to be a very, very good relationship going forwards.
Adam, you did mention the press conference yesterday. You was getting your own content. New podcast,
Yeah.
Just give it a plug because Sarah's out there and she'll kill me if I didn't. She's mentioned it about 20 times today, but yeah, looks good. I've watched a few clips, very entertaining.
So you know me, I'm not really good at plugging things like that. I have entered the podcast world in association with Lounges TV, which I will give a plug to because Lounges, a friend of mine, Scott Green, who's the CEO there, it's a brilliant content streaming platform. It's going to get bigger and bigger, so it's fantastic for creators. And they wanted me to do a podcast, so I said, absolutely, why not? My contacts book is big. People have been really lovely to me during my illness, and hopefully they'll come on and they'll join the podcast. We've got a studio in Mill Hill. We're going on the road. It's the Voice of Boxing podcast, the Voice of Boxing podcast Instagram page. We're on YouTube. We're on Lounges. We've had some really cool guests on already. We're sort of soft launching it, but Dave Colwell has jumped on board. Hannah Rankin and Ticey Gallagher is our very first one. We caught up with Mitchell Smith, who's an old friend of mine and people forget about. We've caught up with Michael King, Your Highness, and his monkey joined us. We've had Don Charles fresh in from his big win with Daniel Dubois against Philip Hrgovic. So yeah, look, it's been a great start. I'm really enjoying it, and really looking forward to doing many of the different people around the fight business, whether it's the promoters, the managers, the fighters at the top, the fighters who are just journeymen, or the YouTubers. We want to get everybody on board, so it'll be a fun journey. So yeah, the Voice of Boxing podcast is up and running.
That's a good enough plug for me. That was everyone go and check that out after this. Do want to speak to you about the press conference yesterday. Yeah. Apart from the main event, what is your pick of the card? And I know it's a tough question because they're all great fights.
You know what? I don't call it a card. We said today there was the early card. You said 3 press conferences and the middle card and I guess the main card. There's no undercard on September the 21st. It's just a fabulous show from top to bottom. Any one of those supporting hors d'oeuvres or supporting cast could be a headliner for a main British fight night. So what catches my eye? They all do. If you have to put a gun to my head and say the one that I'm most excited about, I would say it's probably Joshua Buatsi and Willie Hutchinson. Just the fact that Willie was so good last time out against Craig Richards. Joshua is one of my favourite fighters. I really want to see him get going and see him in these big blockbuster fights. And I don't want him to sort of wait too long, but then Willie could spring an upset with his boxing skills. I love that fight. I absolutely love it. There's so many other stories on the bill, whether it's Tyler Denny, the fairy tale, Hamza Shiraz being the advisor, the ambassador now for the Riyadh season. I see AJ is as well. Congratulations to him. It's just fantastic. Anthony Kakache, to see his rewards after his performance out there, brilliant. To see the Joshes, I bumped into Josh Kelly as I wandered around Wembley. I'm like, wow, you're on the. I didn't even know some of them. It was great. It was fantastic. So yeah, brilliant night, September the 21st, topped by a terrific main event. People are saying, does AJ just beat Daniel Dubois? I think people are really underestimating, and I think it's almost rude to disrespect Daniel Dubois like this. I think, time and time again, people are saying that. He showed guts, he showed courage, he's come back brilliantly under Don Charles, a fantastic win against Philip Hrgovic. Why just say, he got hit loads of times in the first couple of rounds? What about what he did? He was an underdog and he took out Philip Hrgovic, who's one of the most feared guys in the heavyweight division. Give him some dues. Give Don Charles some dues. Now, Daniel Dubois goes in there as a very, very live underdog. Yes, he's the IBF heavyweight champion. It's billed Joshua against Dubois. Nobody's sort of giving him much of a chance. And yes, AJ's got to be the favourite going in, of course. He's the seasoned operator. He's got the experience. He's fought at those occasions before. And he looks razor sharp under Ben Davison. And maybe he'll just go in and deliver another emphatic performance. But I was one of the very few who were fortunate enough to see the spars back in the day in Sheffield. And what I saw, I didn't see AJ in dramatic trouble. I know that's what the rumours are. What I saw was a very competitive spar. And if it's anything like that, and Danny was very young at the time, and AJ was just, I think, a young pro, but fantastic, the two of them together. They're going to lock horns. They're going to light up Wembley on September the 21st. And whatever it's going to be thunderous action. And I think somebody's getting knocked out.
I think the whole nation probably does, Adam. Just final one. Yesterday we see a video of Anthony Joshua on FaceTime to Tyson Fury. It looks so close now. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with the rematch. We don't even know what's going to happen with Joshua Dubois. But with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, this fight is looking like it could happen next year.
How many times have we said it looks like Anthony Joshua will fight Tyson Fury, or Tyson Fury will fight Anthony Joshua? I had this with Ricky Hatton and Junior Witter. We had it back in the day with Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe. We had it with Amir Khan and Kell Brook for over a decade, and finally they did meet. We had it with Mayweather and Pacquiao for so long. They could have had 3 by the time it was finally made. It's a shame that Fury and Joshua have not shared a ring to date. And there have been times where I know that, and I've been on the phone to both fighters, both wanting it at certain times. So it's not down to the two fighters who want that fight to happen. Will it happen with Turki Al-Sheikh, who has transformed boxing in this modern era and delighted us with the best fights in the world, not just in Riyadh season, but around the world as well? America's coming up, then Britain. Of course, it's highly likely to happen, AJ and Fury finally. But we have AJ and Dubois first. We have Fury's and Usyk's rematch second. All best laid plans, banana skins. Wasn't it meant to be AJ Wilder at Wembley? Weren't there meant to be all sorts of other things? Aren't we forgetting Big Bang Zhilei Zhang in the mix? What are we going to do with Joe Parker too? There's other heavyweights who are knocking around. Do I think Fury Joshua do get into a ring at some point in 2025? Yes, I do. Do I think it might be a little bit too late? Potentially. But do I think that the world will stop? Certainly in Britain, traffic will stop. And let's say that Tyson Fury exact revenge on Alexander Usyk. Well, I'm not saying because Alexander Usyk won the fight first time around, but if he does, and all the belts are on the line, and AJ beats Dubois, and it is undisputed, and it is maybe a 2-fight deal next year at Wembley and in Riyadh, will it break all pay-per-view money? I mean, it's more dreams, isn't it? It's fantastic. And we haven't even gone near the Saudi League. There's so much to talk about, but I've got a show to think about, and it's Saturday in Coventry, and we're going to get a couple of thousand there, and it's going to be raucous and fun, and GBM want to be moving forwards in the right direction. And if we're one day lighting up Wembley, then Izzy's done a great job, and that's his dream, so let's try and make it come true.
I'm sure you would have played your part in that as well, Adam. Thank you very much for speaking to IFLTV. Tune in live on the Zone Saturday night, live from the Sky Coventry Dome. Thank you very much.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.